Hey everybody, so I just finished filming my top 10 favorite YouTubers of all time, and I literally moved my set over 2 feet just to film this one. And today's video, I'm so excited, as you can probably guess by my background, is a book club video. So last night, or was it this morning? I can't remember. My world has just been like spinning and it's been going so fast my summer and I haven't had much time to read, so that's why there hasn't been a book club video in a while. But now that I've kind of settled down a little bit for the summer, I got my partying phase off. No, I'm just kidding. I don't party. Now that I have a little bit more time to relax and to read, I'm going to be obviously doing more book club videos, and I'm not going to say that I'm going to upload them every Sunday, but I will be uploading throughout the week, hopefully. I'm not sure, and I can't promise, again, when I'm going to finish a book, because sometimes life just gets carried away and you do stuff you're not like planning on doing. Like the other week, when was it? I got back on Sunday, and what day is today? Today's Saturday. So almost a week ago, I went to my friend's cottage for a couple of days, and she called me on the Wednesday, and it's like, hey, do you want to go up to my cottage? And I was like, sure, when? She's like, tomorrow at 5 a.m. And it was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's how crazy life got for me. But I'm finally here. I'm finally back with a book club video. And this book is called Delirium by Lauren Oliver. And don't mind this. This is like the little barcode for like the library that I got the book from. It's not mine. And I just covered it up so you guys can't really see where I live. Okay. But okay, it's called Delirium by Lauren Oliver. And I first heard about this book a while ago. It was on iBooks for a while. And the cover was different. It was like a teal with the words delirium, like a face in them, I think. Something like that. And I really liked it, and I told myself, hey, I'm gonna read this book. So it took me a while to get it, and I found that some other people started doing book reviews on it, and it kind of spoiled the book for me because I kind of knew what was gonna happen, and I knew what was gonna happen in the second book, which is called Pandemonium, I believe. I know All That Glitters 21 on her second channel, what is it? Elle's Glitter Gossip, something like that. She did a book review on this book, and I haven't watched it recently, so I don't know exactly what she says, but I'm just going to give you the rundown of what I thought about this lovely book. So it's about a girl named Lena, or I think that's how you pronounce it. That's how I pronounced it while I was reading it. And so she and her entire little country of the United States of America lives in this, I don't know, it's almost like post-apocalyptic, kind of, but not as bad. Essentially, like, their country got in like a fight with a whole bunch of others, and they call it the Blitz, and they kind of obliterated every other country, and now they have like walls surrounding their border, and they believe that love is a disease, which is kind of weird if you think about it. It's like, it could be a disease. There's so many signs and symptoms, but nobody ever thinks of it like that. So what they do is their government has this procedure, and they call it the procedure, that you're not allowed to get until you're 18, and it essentially cures you of love. So what they do is, I'm not exactly sure, she didn't go through it, I'm going to tell you that right now, in this book at least. They like go into your brain through like behind like your ear where people tend to get tattoos, and they cure you. That's about it. And so in this novel, she is 17, and at the beginning, she's like 95 or something like that, days away from her procedure. And she's going through her life and how she kind of acts daily. And I found that when I read this book, I was thinking a lot of The Hunger Games, because they kind of talk about, I don't know, like the people, I don't even know what to call them, not reporters. The word will come to me eventually, but like the monitor people who would come, like the SWAT team, where they like come and they check to make sure everybody's okay, and they have electric fences around some of their borders too. And yeah, it's interesting. So that reminded me a lot of The Hunger Games. Even though I didn't like The Hunger Games, I kind of didn't like that aspect of this. They also had, another little part of The Hunger Games, you know, like District 13, how it's all like burnt down. Well, in here, they have this little city, or a little part of Portland, Maine, that's where they live, where there were sympathizers. And sympathizers are people who believe in love. And they are shunned upon, they are put into like prison, they are killed, and it's serious. Love is a serious disease. So the little section where there's like abandoned houses, abandoned cars, barns, all of that fun stuff, that reminded me of District 13. And Lena and her friends go there a lot too, like later on in the book. But another part, it reminded me, I talk about this book series all the time. It's that uglies, pretty, specials, and extras. It totally reminded me of that because in that book, they also have a procedure and they have to wait. When they're ugly, they're young, and they get the procedure, and then they're pretty. That's about it. Okay, so I'm just going to start talking about this book because this is what this book club video is about. So she is waiting for her procedure and she has to go through a whole bunch of different tasks. She has to go through evaluations, which is where she goes to a government building and they kind of like test her. They don't really test her, and it's very similar to the Hunger Games where they have to give her, like when they go through like the training and they go through their tests and they get like a score. It's very similar to this. She gets a score and she gets an 8. And then she gets matched with, or like she gets like a list of names of people that she could marry because they don't believe in love, and so you just get paired with somebody through the government's like officials and how similar you guys match up. So she gets matched up later on, and after the first evaluation, she has to go through 2 because the first one, there are a herd of wild cows that magically end up in the building, storming through that room, and she meets or locks eyes with this guy named Alex, who you later find out is not actually a member of their society. He is an invalid. I call it an invalid, but it's like invalid. I call it an invalid because I think it's pretty cool to pronounce it like that. So he is from the wilds, which is essentially the forest that they live, it's like Canada basically. He lives in Canada, my country. And so he lives there, but he magically he like escaped into this pandemonium USA. And I'm not going to give away the entire book, but I will tell you this. Actually, I am going to give away the entire book. They fall in love. And so she tries to escape her procedure and they do a whole bunch of stuff, and she visits the wilds, which is forbidden, and she does that. And then in the end, they get caught and Alex dies. There you go. I just gave away the entire book. And yeah, she escapes back into the wilds to go live there. Another little thing that I didn't mention, but I would totally love to mention, is her parents are dead. Her father died when she was really young, and her mother committed suicide. But later on in the book, you find out that her mother may still be alive, and because she's thought of as a sympathizer, because she believes in love, her mom, because the procedure didn't work on her 3 times, and they were going to do it a 4th, but then they said they couldn't put like her under, so they'd be messing with her brain while she was awake, which is kind of gross if you think about it. But Lena and Alex, they go to the crypts, which is like a big jail, and there's like certain like levels, and level 6 is forbidden, nobody can go in there. But Alex, because he is a sympathizer, he knows a lot of the other sympathizers that like live in the city and who like work as like government officials. They get into like level ward 6 or whatever it is, and they go to her cell and it's empty and there's a hole in the wall, and she wrote all over love, 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 and so she escaped. And so Lena thinks that her mom is still alive, which would be awesome if the second book, if she actually does meet her mother, because I feel like she needs a break now. Yeah, this book, I'm gonna be a little bit of a hypocrite and just say there wasn't a lot of dialogue. I mean, there was like a lot of dialogue, but not as much as I wanted. It was mostly narrative. And what I mean by hypocrite is when I write, I love writing narrative and I hate writing dialogue, and I find that I want to write more narrative compared to dialogue. But when I read, I want more dialogue than narrative. So I'm kind of like a little hypocrite. But I did skip over some parts that got really, really, really boring. Like I skipped certain paragraphs, and that part was boring for me. I'm not sure if I'm going to read the second book in the series, Pandemonium. I think that's what it's called. I believe that's what it is. Let me see. Yeah, it's Pandemonium. But I don't know. There's a couple other books that I want to read next. So yeah, so thank you very much for watching. The next video that I'm going to be doing a book club video on is, what's it? We'll Always Have Summer by somebody. I don't know who it's by, but that's the book that I'm going to be reading. Oh, maybe it's like Alison Noel. I think that's who it's by. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Bye!